longtime mascot of the Apollo Quality Control Program, really deserved to go along. Anyway, he was there in spirit and in name, and throughout the complex and difficult mission, good humor prevailed. A mood which the world shared. A good thing to have when you're out there alone, a quarter of a million miles from home.
Let's go!
17 seconds at a time, bonus intel. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start.
Mario time! All right! It's a Mario time! All right!
The space flight seems to express extremes of every sort. An inferno below, a blizzard of ice above.
Mario time!
Overpowering thrust contrasting with seeming reluctance to go.
All right! It's a Mario
30 seconds
time!
and 280 tons of fuel later, the rocket cleared the path. The launch directors found that they had been within 7 thousandths of a second of their planned time for liftoff. It was going well. Right on time. Right on target. 12 miles high. In Houston, the flight controllers breezed through Earth orbit, an injection towards the moon with deceptive ease and calm. The three astronauts had been very active in getting color TV put aboard and were determined to share their experience in space.
Hey, we got the color now. Oh, yeah, good for you. Yes, sir. It's looking great. No sweat. We got it like the sun is great, Gene. It looks like the sun's really bright on it. Tremendous.
In the first transmission, they brought virtually the entire world into their cabin to witness their first critical maneuvers, separation and docking with the lunar module.
All right! It's a Mario time!
Apollo 10 had a rugged flight plan.
All right!
It combined the features of the 9 flights before it and was a full dress rehearsal for the infinitely complicated lunar landing to follow. Fortunately, between the Earth and the Moon, there's a long coast, with some time to unwind after liftoff and subsequent maneuvers. This gives the astronauts an opportunity to adjust to a weightless environment in which there is no up or down, no sunrise or sunset, and no one else around.
Oh yeah! Mario time!
In the second color telecast, the three astronauts introduced their two stowaways, Snoopy and his pal Charlie Brown.
Great, Charlie Brown. Now you're going to bring on that window here.
All right!
we got Snoopy now. Well, he's been quiet for a few days. He's gonna get a chance to do a little whooping here in the next couple of days. Roger, we got it for you. That one today, too. Snoopy, right? Well, I didn't no comment if they don't like that.
On TV and in onboard motion pictures, the crew appeared deceptively idle. For the average viewer, the astronauts' humor and their relaxed appearance tended to obscure the 8 days of intense concentration. On they sailed. By Tuesday morning, May 20th, they were 150,000 miles from home and would soon be feeling the pull of the moon's gravity. At that point, their speed would increase from a low of 2,500 miles per hour. On Earth, at 1/2 mile per hour, Apollo 11 had started its journey to the moon. In test facilities and simulation chambers, the crew of Apollo 11 continued the exacting and intense training which had already filled their lives for so many months. Edwin Aldrin, lunar module pilot. Neil Armstrong, spacecraft commander, the one slated to be the first man to set foot on the moon. Michael Collins, command module pilot. The training goes on, suit tests and previews of their hardware. Simulated lunar gravity training, underwater and in the air. The role of lunar landing might have fallen to any of the astronaut crews. It might even have been the crew of Apollo 10. As it is, the burden of reality, the excitement of what is almost unreality, has been given to these three. Meanwhile, the Apollo 10 trajectory was so accurate that 3 of the 4 mid-course corrections were skipped. On the 4th day, 74 hours into the flight, a precise burst of the main engine put them into orbit around the moon. Then another burst, using only a few ounces of fuel, fired at just the right instant, for a precise length of time, made their orbit nearly circular at 69 miles, and they prepared for descent in the lunar module. Astronauts Stafford, Young, and Cernan became the second group of 3 to see this sight, and they were the first with the potential to see it from a point 60 miles closer than it appears in this scene. It was a prime objective of Apollo 10 to duplicate the Apollo 11 flight plan in every way. The timing, spacecraft performance, the performance of men and equipment on Earth. The only minor difference would come now. This is their lunar track as it was displayed in the control room at Houston. And this is the view they had from the command module, looking past the thrusters of the lunar module. Now it was time for Stafford and Cernan to crawl through the connecting tunnel. Right away there were problems. While Houston and the world waited, they finally solved a pressure problem in the tunnel and fixed a radar system defect. Then there was an unexplained twisting in the docking collar, but it didn't get worse. As they disappeared behind the moon for the 11th time, they were still together. When they next appeared, they were 50 feet apart, flying formation. John Young radioed his companions below. "You'll never know how big this thing gets when there ain't nobody in here but one guy." And they answered, "You'll never know how small it looks when you're as far as we are." Here in the lunar environment, as Apollo 9 had done in Earth's environment, the crew was able to check out the lunar module's landing radar, navigation, and guidance. They were also proving out the descent rocket, an engine which can be throttled like an ordinary car.
I know, you had to fuck up your phone.
The reflection in the window comes from the astronaut's sleeves as he took the pictures. The waterless sea of tranquility was their target. First glance of the landing site number 2. This is a preview of what the crew of the Apollo 11 will see when they head in for lunar landing. Apollo 10 made the same run at the same angle under the same lighting conditions. Only shortly after splashdown, this film was being used by the 11 crew in a lunar landing simulator. That's a characteristic of all photography in space. The pictures one